Good evening. Welcome back to EmoNews Nightly Package for March 26, 2026. I am your presenter, Anna Benjamin. Our top stories this evening. Over 100 NEP workers expected to receive permanent positions in the public service. 2 schools advance after stiff contest in 2026 inter-secondary schools debating semifinals. Nicolas Maduro set to appear in U.S. court months after abduction. And Australia temporarily bans Iranian tourists despite valid visas. Stay tuned for the details of these stories.
Welcome to Antigua. These people have no behavior, they have no behavior. Welcome to Antigua. Clear out how you know it's danger, how you know it's danger. When it comes to massive deadly.
In local news, the Prime Minister of Dominica announced at a press conference on Wednesday that his government has fully complied with all aspects of the law with regards to activities ongoing at Deboche.
For Deboche and the International Airport, we continue to comply fully with the guidance of the Physical Planning Division and are actively engaged in the established approval process. All required procedures are being followed, and the relevant technical teams remain in close coordination with the regulatory authorities to ensure that every aspect of the project meets national standards and expectations. This is a process, and we respect that process. At the same time, preparatory works and planning activities are being responsibly managed to ensure that once all approvals are finalized, the project can proceed efficiently and without unnecessary delay. Any activity currently ongoing on the site, that is at the Deboche site, is in full compliance with permission granted by the Physical Planning and Development Authority to install the crusher equipment on the site.
One of the conservationists deeply involved in the Deboche issue had this to say.
Yesterday, the Prime Minister said something important, and the Save Deboche team would like to say thank you. He confirmed in his own words that not all approvals have been finalized at Deboche. We take him at his word, and we are grateful for that honesty. But here's what that means. It means that while those approvals are still being worked out, a valley has already opened up. A river that communities depend on has already been affected. A forest that cannot be replaced has already been cleared. And our own planning authority, the body that exists specifically to make sure these things happen the right way, issued a stop order and a compliance notice back in December saying exactly that. Stop. You did not have permission for this. That compliance notice could not be clearer. It says, cease all construction works immediately and await a decision on your application before recommencing any construction or quarrying activities. Any. That means nothing moves until a decision is made. Not a machine, not a crusher, nothing. So when we are told that permission was granted to install crushing equipment at the site, while that application is still open, while that decision has not yet been made, we have to ask a simple question. What does that say about how this decision is going to go? Because you do not set up a crusher at a site you are not planning to approve. Not when an entire community is raising serious concerns. Not when a watershed that so many people depend on is already showing the damage. We have put every single document we hold out in the open. Every letter we wrote, every submission we made, everything. Because we believe that if you are doing things right, you should have nothing to hide. And we believe the Prime Minister feels the same way. So we are asking, respectfully and in good faith, publish the permissions, publish the approvals. Let the full record speak for itself. That is how trust is built. That is how this chapter closes, not with assurances, with the documents.
At the same time, in response to a question from the media, the Prime Minister confirmed that Dominica was approached by St. Lucia re the supply of water to the sister isle. The Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, had announced to his country that his government plans to import water from the nature island. Prime Minister Skerrit said that he has instructed Ambassador Benoit Badwil to coordinate activities. In more local news, Dominica officially signed a non-binding agreement on March 18, 2026, to receive third country nationals from the United States. This, according to Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit. He explained the terms of the third country national arrangement.
Importantly, this arrangement is non-binding and Dominica retains full discretion at all times. This means we have the authority to accept or reject any individual. We also maintain the right to refuse entry to persons with a criminal history, and we will have advanced access to relevant medical and security information before any decision is made. On the operational side, our technical team continues to do the necessary preparatory work. The meeting was held with the International Organization of Migration on March 10 to discuss the support in executing the arrangement. The framework for the standing operating procedures has been completed, and the team met on Tuesday, that is yesterday, to finalize the procedures for our ports of entry.
The Prime Minister said that the U.S. has not yet communicated when the first transfer of persons will begin. He added that the public will be informed as more details become available and that the process will be managed carefully, responsibly, and in Dominica's best interests. Over 100 persons employed with the National Employment Program will receive full-time status in the coming months. This is according to Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, who made the announcement at a press conference on Wednesday.
Individuals who have been actively engaged with the National Employment Program for 5 years or more in the public service will be transitioned into full-time public service positions. This initiative will focus on interns who have served for more than 5 years, who meet the entry requirements, hold an associate degree or higher qualification, and perform substantive roles, and are demonstrated consistent and satisfactory job performance. This transition represents a natural and strategic evolution of the NEP, strengthening the capacity of the public service while recognizing the contribution and commitment of these young professionals.
The Prime Minister said that this follows the over 110 non-established workers who were recently regularized. This is part of his government's policy to enhance job security and benefits for temporary workers. This policy will also extend to government statutory boards and agencies, the Prime Minister said. And in more news, the Electoral Office of Dominica is informing the general public of a new initiative aimed at making the voter confirmation process more accessible and convenient. Beginning in the second week of April, the Electoral Office will facilitate weekly voter confirmation services at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium in Roseau. The initiative is designed to assist electors who are registered in constituencies outside of Roseau but currently reside or work within the city. More details on the initiative were provided by Chief Elections Officer Ms. Anthea Joseph.
The Electoral Office of Dominica is making it easy for persons to complete their voter confirmation. To better accommodate electors who are registered in districts outside of Roseau but now live or work in the city, the office will be offering weekly voter confirmation services at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium. Each week, a different constituency will be facilitated so persons can complete their confirmation without having to travel back to their home districts. The rotation is expected to begin in the second week of April, and a monthly schedule will be shared across the media platforms, including the Electoral Office official page. The hours will be the same as the opening hours of the confirmation center, that is from 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And this is just one of the initiatives of the Electoral Office to ensure that no one is left behind and no Dominican feels excluded from the process. And we will continue to do our best to ensure that the ongoing voter confirmation and the voter registration process continues to run smoothly. We remain committed to ensure the process of voter confirmation is accessible, transparent, and fair for all Dominicans. So for further information, we advise that you call 617-9595 or 275-8164.
In exciting school news, the inter-secondary schools debating competition continued on Thursday with two exciting semi-final matchups at the UE Global Campus in Roseau. In the first debate, St. Martin's Secondary School proposed the topic against the Wesley High School. The teams debated the motion, the growth in informal sector employment poses a greater challenge to the sustainability of Dominica's social security system than unemployment in the formal sector. And later in the day, the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School faced the Dominica Grammar School in the second semi-final. They debated the motion, the Dominica social security system should introduce an unemployment benefit even if it requires restructuring existing benefits and/or contribution rates. Here are some highlights from the debates.
While Jane runs a cash-only roadside grill, she's employed but invisible. She uses our roads daily, yet hasn't put a single cent into the social security pot in over 20 years. While Julian is a temporary leak, Jane is a silent parasite. She looks like a success story, but she's draining the system's lifeblood, leaving the bucket bone dry for everyone when she eventually needs a pension.
Formal sector unemployment is a double-edged sword that cuts deeper and bleeds faster than any informal activity ever could. There are 4 counts in this indictment. 1, the 108% trap. 2, the productivity gap. 3, brain drain, which is the permanent amputation of our future. And 4, the administrative loan policy. The income we are taxing is exactly what is breaking the system. As the second speaker for the proposition, I am here to prove that while unemployment is a visible wound, the informal sector is the hidden infection draining our future.
The Dominica Social Security, DSS, was established in February 1976. Now, 50 years later, the structure of that system has largely remained the same. In contrast, our society and economy have evolved. So I ask, is it not necessary to implement responsive social policies that truly reflect the realities faced by today's workers?
Today, we debate whether the Dominica Social Security should introduce an unemployment benefit, even if it means restructuring benefits and/or contribution rates. My colleague and I firmly reject this proposal. We do so not because we think unemployment is not a real problem, not because we do not care about unemployed workers, but because a promise we cannot afford afford to keep is not kindness. It is a trap.
The event was proudly supported by several corporate sponsors, including the National Bank of Dominica, Central Cooperative Credit Union, Lindo Mats, ICWI Insurance Company, and Najiko Insurance, among others. Congratulations are in order for the Wesley High School, who edged out the St. Martin Secondary School. And in the second debate, congratulations go to the Dominica Grammar School, who won against the Isaiah Thomas Secondary. And in other local news, long-standing teacher Madam Sonia Akpa was recognized on International Francophone Day on Friday for 30 years of remarkable service to the Alliance Française towards the preservation of French language and culture. The surprise recognition was made by President of the Board of Directors of the Alliance Française, Mrs. Charlene White Christian.
We also take a moment to honor Mrs. Sonia Magua Akpa for her remarkable 30 years of dedication, service to the Alliance Française de la Dominique. Mrs. Akpa, please come up. Her commitment, passion, and contribution have played an invaluable role in the growth and success of this institution, and we express our deepest expression. This is someone I love, and she's a very good mentor to me.
Yes.
So, Mrs. Akpa, we love you, and thank you for your 30 years of service to the Alliance Française de la Dominique.
The recognition coincided with the celebration of the 30th anniversary of the handing over of the Alliance Française building to the government of Dominica. The building is being used for French classes, the training of French teachers, and much more.
It brings us together in our shared love for the French language and the richness of the Francophone cultures. This year's celebration is especially meaningful as we also commemorate 30 years since this very building, the Alliance Française de la Dominique, was handed over to a group of Dominicans who saw it fit to use French as a means of moving our persons together as we work together with the French persons on island. For 3 decades, this building has been more than a structure. It has been a home for learning, exchange, and of course, cultural connections. On this important anniversary, it is fitting to recall the origins of this building. It was handed over by the French government to the Dominican government, then represented at the time by the Prime Minister, Honorable Edison James. Equally important has been our commitment to the training of French teachers, ensuring high standards of instruction and contributing to the overall development of French language education in Dominica. Beyond the classroom, the Alliance has established itself as a vibrant cultural hub. For many years, it has been the home of Francophone and French activities, welcoming all French learners, enthusiasts, and friends. Through film screenings, exhibitions, workshops, concerts, and community events, we have created a space where culture is shared, celebrated, and experienced by all. These achievements are the result of the dedication of our past and present board members, our committed staff and teachers, and the unwavering support of our partners and the wider community. I extend my sincere gratitude to each of you.
And finally, in local news, the Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce, DAIC, has scheduled its 2026 annual general meeting for Thursday, April 9th at the St. Alphonsus Parish Hall in Roseau, beginning at 1 p.m. The AGM will include an open session featuring a keynote presentation by Mr. Samuel Johnson, Chief Executive Officer of the International Airport Development Company. His 45-minute presentation will be followed by an interactive question and answer segment focusing on opportunities for the private sector arising from the development of Dominica's international airports. A closed session for members will follow, addressing statutory matters of the association. The DAIC anticipates strong participation from its membership and the wider business community as it continues to strengthen its role as the leading voice of the private sector and a key partner in national developments. And that's all for local news. We'll be right back with regional news. On the regional scene, Prime Minister Honorable Philip J. Pierre, yesterday, March 25th, welcomed UNICEF's Regional Director for Latin America and the Caribbean, Roberto Benis, on his first official visit to St. Lucia, reaffirming the government's commitment to investing in the nation's children. During the meeting, the Prime Minister outlined key priorities to strengthen early childhood development, including universal access to free preschool education, improved school infrastructure, stronger school nutrition standards, a modernized national curriculum. These build on initiatives introduced during the government's previous term, including increase of subvention to $3,000 to 106 privately owned preschools, an increase to $100 monthly support for preschool fees, $1.35 million in funding from Taiwan for early childhood education, and the introduction of a stream-based curriculum. Prime Minister Pierre reaffirmed the importance of investing in early childhood development and highlighted the impact of climate change on children, especially in small island states. The regional director commended St. Lucia's leadership and alignment with global best practices. And in more news, CARICOM governments are preparing to dispatch humanitarian supplies to Cuba, following a decision announced by CARICOM Chairman Dr. Terence Drew during the 50th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government held in St. Kitts and Nevis in February. The initiative is being coordinated by the CARICOM Secretariat in Georgetown, Guyana, and will include essential items such as powdered milk, including baby formula, non-perishable foods like beans, wheat flour, rice, and canned goods, as well as basic medical supplies, solar panels, batteries, and water tanks. The humanitarian effort is also being supported by the government of Mexico, which has identified suppliers to provide the goods and will facilitate free shipment from Mexico to Cuba. A magnitude 3.9 earthquake was recorded at 3:19 a.m. local time on Thursday, according to the UE Seismic Research Center's automatic earthquake location reports. The quake was located at latitude 17.69 north and longitude 62.25 west at a depth of 42 kilometers. The SRC said the epicenter was 69 kilometers northeast of Bastia, St. Kitts and Nevis, 78 kilometers northwest of St. John's, Antigua and Barbuda, and 99 kilometers north of Braids, Montserrat. The agency noted that the location was calculated automatically by computer algorithms and remains preliminary, meaning it could be revised after further review by SRC analysts. And finally, in regional news, Charge d'Affaires Corinne Sullivan has reaffirmed the strong partnership between the United States and St. Vincent and the Grenadines during a recent meeting with Prime Minister Dr. Godwin Friday. Discussions focused on shared policy priorities for the year and advancing a mutual commitment to a more prosperous Caribbean. During her visit, Sullivan also met with Minister of Tourism Dr. Kishore Shallow and Minister of Higher Education Terence Oliver. Talks centered on strengthening cooperation in sustainable tourism and education, with an emphasis on job creation, skills development, and expanding opportunities for citizens. And stay tuned, we'll be right back with international news.
Blast Gaming presents its biggest job whatever. Blast Mystery Progressive. I'm so excited. I can't hide it. In your blast up and rising. And I like it. It going up and up and up and up and up. Blast up and up and up and up and up and up.
Play selected games to win in the Blast Mystery Progressive. Pick until you match 3 gems and win one of the 5 cash jackpots. Or you can blast up with the mystery progressive jackpot.
Going up, and up, and up, and up, and up, blast up, and up, and up, blast gaming.
And first up in international news, former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro is set to appear before a U.S. federal judge, arguing that government actions are hindering his defense and that the case should be dismissed. The hearing, led by Alvin Hellerstein, will address legal motions and may set a trial timeline. His attorney, Barry Pollock, says he could withdraw if Venezuelan state funds are not allowed to cover legal fees. Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, were captured in January and taken to New York City, where they face charges including narco-terrorism and cocaine importation conspiracy. Prosecutors say sanctions prevent access to government funds but allow the use of personal money. Legal experts say Maduro faces an uphill battle. He has pleaded not guilty and remains in federal custody. And Australia has announced a 6-month ban on tourists from Iran, including those with valid visas, over concerns they may overstay. The measure, introduced by Tony Burke, takes effect this week and is expected to impact about 6,800 visa holders, with limited exceptions for close family members of Australian citizens. The government says the move is in the national interest, allowing time to assess evolving global conditions. Critics, however, argue the policy undermines trust in the migration system and sets a troubling precedent by cancelling valid visas. Officials say the restriction applies only to Iranian nationals and followed consultations with the Australian-Iranian community. And finally, in international news, the United States is expected to deploy about 1,000 soldiers from the 82nd Airborne Division to the Middle East in the coming days, even as the president says a deal with Iran may be close. Iran's military has cast doubt on the talk, suggesting Washington may be negotiating with itself. Tensions remain high, with reports of an airstrike in Tehran, injuries after a missile hit central Israel, and a drone strike targeting fuel storage at Kuwait International Airport. In the Strait of Hormuz, Iran says it will continue charging for safe passage, raising oil supply concerns. Japan plans to release 30 days of oil reserves, while the Philippines has declared a state of emergency. The situation underscores ongoing instability, despite signs of possible diplomacy. And that's all for international news. We'll be right back with sports.
Don't forget, today we have funeral, we have functions. Make sure you're on time.
Always on time, eh?
You're always on time. Make sure. All right. Papa Met, look, I just received a message from National Bank asking me to regain access to my account. Look at a message that your account has been placed on hold due to an unusual activity. Let me click that link.
How many times NBD has to say that they will never ever send links via text message to regain access to account or to restore account or to do anything with account?
So National Bank that sent it, I believe it. I just click in.
Emo, if you are not sure, it's better if you call National Bank at 255-2300 or email them at customersupport@nbd.dm.
Papa Met, little again I lose all the little money I save up from my account.
And you'd find money to pay me.
Yeah, I tell you, I almost click link and almost lose my money. You're talking about I hope I have money to pay you. Let's go, eh?
All I know is don't click any link. Call NBD instead.
Yeah, let us know our business.
First up in sports news. During the Secondary Schools Athletics Championships, Parliamentary Representative Honorable Fenella Wenham Shepherd delivered remarks highlighting the work of the government. She also wished the athletes well and encouraged them to do their best and compete fairly.
To you, our student athletes, give your best. Play fair and be proud of your efforts. Whether you stand on the podium or not, your participation is already a victory for your health and for your future. To our coaches, our teachers, our parents, and our sports enthusiasts, thank you for guiding and encouraging our young people. Your role is critical in shaping not only athletes, but well-rounded citizens. And to the sports division and all other partners, continue to champion opportunities like this, where sport becomes a vehicle for national development and wellness.
EmoNews spoke to some sports teachers and students who expressed confidence in performing well.
We have a very good team here this year, a mix of experience and newcomers. We felt that we had a good training period. The last 2.5 months we have been training, and as a result we are feeling very confident that we can come here today and do extremely well.
Which school do you think is your biggest competitor?
It might be Portsmouth Secondary. We know that they have a good program as well. They did extremely well in this meet last year, so we know they are coming good. But we are going to do our very best to match them or do them in this year's competition.
Thank you and all the best.
Thank you very much, Emo.
Mr. Hamilton, how does it feel to be here this year?
Well, it's always nice to be on the field, when you come to track and field and being with the kids.
I know we have many secondary schools here today. Which one do you think is your biggest competitor?
Well, our biggest competitors are ourselves, to be honest with you. You always go out there and compete against yourself. By doing your best, then anybody in your way, you'll pass them, be it distance, be it time, be it height.
And what qualities make your team very special?
Well, it's just the DGS pride. So that's when the children and them carry this crest, I think it brings a different kind of person out.
Thank you so much and all the best.
Welcome.
It feels good because first of all I have been putting the work, and I know my coaches will be proud of my performance because we have been doing a lot of work lately, and for the past months we have been trying to implement different strategies into improving my form and things. Well, today I'll be participating in the 200, 400 and high jump and triple jump, and then the next day I'll be participating in the relays and the 1500.
And we are here with Miss Alice Hamilton, a student of the Dominica Grammar School. Miss Hamilton, how are you feeling competing in the secondary school athletic championship today?
I feel a little nervous but confident.
What events are you participating in today?
Today, the 200 meters.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
The two-day event, which began yesterday and continues today, brings together student athletes from across the island to compete for top honors. And in international football news, Mohamed Salah will leave Liverpool FC at the end of the season, ending a remarkable 9-year spell. Since joining in 2017, Salah became a global star, helping the club win major titles, including the UEFA Champions League and the Premier League. At Anfield, he scored over 190 goals, won 4 Golden Boot awards, and established himself as one of the league's all-time greats. Nicknamed the Egyptian King, Salah also built a strong bond with fans and became a symbol of the club's success under Klopp. He leaves behind a legacy of goals, trophies, and unforgettable moments. And that's it for sports news. Stay tuned for the weather report from the Dominica Meteorological Service. This has been EmoNews Nightly Package for March 26, 2026. I am your presenter, Soana Benjamin, and I'll see you tomorrow.